from husband to wife. If Dr. Julia Wesling had never invented her sexual amplifier, I would never have been able to do what I did to my former husband. But then, I'm getting ahead of myself. I should first tell you that I was a normal housewife, satisfied with my life. But then I found out that my husband wasn't who he said he really was. First, I come to find that he had an affair. I forgave him, and allowed him a second chance. But then I found out by accident that he wasn't actually a citizen, and he had used me to get his green card. He hid all of this from me, and who knows what else. Even with all that, I was willing to stay with him. But after I confronted him about my suspicions that he was having yet another affair, the abuse started. I won't go into details, it's too personal, and too painful, but to say the least, I was a basket case. I got emotional support from my friends, but it wasn't enough. I started to go to therapy. And that is where I met Dr. Julia Wesling. We tried to work through my issues, but with Juan still abusing me, there was only so much progress I could make. I was afraid to go to the police because of the threats he made. I was sneaking out to go to therapy on my lunch hour, because if he found out I was doing that, he would have killed me. So Dr. Wesling knew the situation was desperate. That is why she allowed me to have a prototype of her sexual amplifier. You put this device inside your vagina, like this, she showed me. When a man has sex with you, it will activate all of his nerves at once, causing a huge orgasm, and a type of overload to his brain. When this happens, it leaves him in a state of shock for 5 to 10 minutes. I nodded. But what good did that do me? Now here's the good part, when he is in this state, I have found that he will be very open to suggestion. Anything you tell him will go right into his brain. Be careful what you suggest, you will have full power over him. I will let you keep this for a month. Start out with small suggestions, and build from there. You can reshape him into the type of man you want. I thanked her, put the amplifier into my purse, and went back home. That night, I tried it on Juan for the first time. Just as the good doctor had said, after he came inside me, his eyes glazed over, and he was in some type of shock. You will never hurt a woman again, I said. When you feel the urge to hit a woman, you will instead replace it with an urge to wear a dress. I repeated it a few times. That seemed reasonable, do something gentile and feminine instead of something abusive. Now all I had to do was to see if it really worked. It was only the next day, at breakfast, when he flew into one of his rages. I don't even know what I did to get him mad. Perhaps the toast wasn't done just right, or the eggs were too runny, but he got all upset. He walked over like he was going to slap me. I winced, ready for the blow. But then he got a strange look in his eyes. "Stephanie, do you have a dress I could wear?" he asked. "Of course, dear, if you want to. I really want to try one on." "Let me get it for you," I said, and had him follow me upstairs. But before we reached the bedroom, he got really quiet. "Forget it. I can't do that. I just want to finish my breakfast." I was elated. It had worked. I would never be abused again. Life was going to be wonderful from now on. I was so naive. I thought that stopping his abuse of me would fix things, but I was so wrong. Because it was only 2 days later when a woman named Maria showed up at our doorstep, with a crying baby in her arms. "Tell that scumbag Juan to get down here this instant," she demanded. "Who are you?" I asked. "The question is, who are you, whore? Are you sleeping with my Juan?" "Excuse me? I am his wife," I said. "His wife? No way, sugar. He married me. This is our baby. He lives with me, Maria." "Who are you?" "His woman on the side." "He doesn't live with you. He lives with his sick mother," she said. Obviously, Juan was nothing but a pack of lies. The rage grew inside me. "Oh honey," I called up the steps, "there's a nice woman here to see you." He came down, walked over the door, and almost fell over when he saw his lover and his illegitimate baby standing there. I smiled. It was fun to watch him squirm. It turned out that he was the father, and had been promising Maria to move in with her. But almost everything he told her was a lie. What other lies had he told me? I decided that enough was enough. If he was going to treat women that way, then he deserved a taste of his own medicine. But I had to do some acting to manipulate the situation. "Juan dear, let's go to bed," I said after Maria left. "We'll make love, and cement our new relationship. You'll promise to be good this time, and I'll give you this last chance." "Sure babe," he said. He thought I was letting him off easy. I went to the bathroom to insert the amplifier, promising myself to use it every night for weeks until revenge was mine. I smiled as he laid on top of me, and pretended to enjoy it as he penetrated me. I hated him with every fiber of my being, but I had to keep up the act. At least for now. When he came, he had the same stunned look on his face. As usual, he didn't get me to climax. Oh well, that would change soon enough. I rolled him onto his back, and went to work with a few suggestions to him. "You have no more memories of your childhood," I commanded. "You cannot remember anything before the age of 10. It is a total blank. Now in its place you will find that you have new memories. They are your own, they all happen to you. You remember your birthday party, when you wore a pretty blue dress. You had long hair, and your mommy said you were the prettiest girl in the world. You wanted to grow up to be a beautiful woman like her. You love her, and all women, because they are your heroes. You wanted nothing more than to be a beautiful woman and a mother yourself. You remember playing with dolls. You remember playing house. You remember hanging out with the girls on your block, but never the boys, because they are too rough. You are soft and gentle. You remember wearing your mother and your older sister's clothes, because they made you feel like a big girl. You wanted to be older, so you could dress like they dress, wear makeup like they do, and look pretty like them." Juan started to blink his eyes, which was the sign that his shock was starting to wear off. So I left just one final suggestion. "Your childhood memories remain dim in your mind, but they shape the person that you are today." Juan went to sleep next to me, and the next day he was a changed man. He was polite to me, acted nicely, and even helped clean up the kitchen after dinner. He had never done that before. I was almost tempted to leave him as he was, but the thoughts of how he had cheated me still burned inside. I was determined to continue on with him. I took him to the bedroom, seduced him, and used the amplifier on him again. How he was ready for the next round of suggestions, after erasing his memories from age 10 until 14. "You remember when you were ready to start puberty? You felt so jealous that the other girls were starting to develop breasts and wear training bras. You yearned for breasts of your own. How could you be a good mommy if you didn't have breasts? Oh, how you counted the days, waiting for puberty to start working on you. You were so jealous that your friends started to have periods before you did. You wanted one so much. You prayed each night that your flow would start. Because then you would be a real woman. And once you were a woman, then you could start dating. You gossiped with the girls about all the boys, and had a crush on one of them. You imagined that you were his girlfriend. You dressed pretty at school each day, to impress the boys. You remember how it made you feel when a cute one walked down the hallway towards you. You clutched your books to your chest, and sighed as you saw him. You were so glad that you were a pretty girl. Perhaps he would pick you. You remember going out on group dates, and starting to dance. You wore pretty long dresses and skirts to the dance, and stood by the wall, waiting for a boy to come over and ask you to dance. It wouldn't be proper for you to ask him, he had to come to you. You remember high school, going through sex ed. You remember feeling special when you learned how a baby grows inside you when you get pregnant. You told yourself, that is what I want to do. You yearned to be a mommy. Juan's blinking eyes told me it was time to stop. Not too bad for the second session. Over the next week, I erased virtually all of his memories, and replaced them with ones for a girl. His behavior changed radically, and he was acting more and more feminine. I told him that he remembered kissing boys after going on dates, he loved shopping for pretty clothes, and that he still wished he had large breasts like his mother did. I kept stressing that to him. I noticed that he started shaving his legs, armpits, and chest, without me having to tell him. And he was wearing my underwear. Even the clothes he picked to wear were rather androgynous at best. He wasn't going out in skirts yet, but I hoped that would come soon. Now I started a few other parts to his conditioning. You hear a female voice in your head now, always there on the edge of your awareness. It's like a song you can't get out of your head, it just keeps going on and on. You can't stand your face without makeup. You just have to look pretty. How can you go around like that? How can you stand it? You need to make yourself pretty. Predictably, he was wearing lipstick and painting his nails in no time. And he was finally choosing skirts instead of pants sometimes. I wondered what the people at work said to him about it, but I didn't care. I was starting to have a harder time getting him to come to bed with me though. His desires were starting to change enough that I knew I'd better make the most of the next few sessions, or else I might not be able to get him into bed again at all. That night, I did get him to lie with me. I told him he was pretty. I told him he had such nice breasts. As I caressed him, he started to moan. I got on top, and said I was penetrating him. He smiled with pleasure at the thought. When he came, this time it was somehow different. He seemed to have had a huge orgasm, and was even more knocked out than usual. Good. This would give me time to make some final changes. The female voice you hear in your head ... it is there all the time now. There is no more male voice, only her. You are her. You are female. You have always been. You were never a male. There is no memory of that in your entire body. You are a woman. You have been, and always will be. You will get surgery to alter your body to fit your ideal image of womanhood. You will start taking female hormones. You have such a driving desire to be pretty, that almost nothing else matters. You also now feel so lonely. The company of women is nice, but you need something more. You need a man. You cannot be happy unless you have true love, and you can only have that with a man. You must fulfill your desires. You hate men's clothes, they are ugly. Only ladies' fashions will do for you. You even hate slacks, because they are too much like men's clothes. You much prefer skirts and dresses. They make you feel pretty. And you so much want to be beautiful. You are a woman. You have always been. The name one means nothing to you, your name is Maria, and you will answer to no other name. You are a woman, Maria. You are a girl. Now and forever. You want to be married to a handsome man, and be a mother to his children. No go. Reshape your body, then find yourself a man. When you have done this, you may visit this house again. Forget me, and start your new life. One's face had a look of peace on it. He slept like a baby that night. In the morning, he packed his bags and left. I did not see him again for over a year. It was a bright day, and spring was in the air. I had opened the windows in the house for the first time since the fall, and let the fresh breeze move throughout. It made everything seem brighter and cleaner. The world was renewing after its long winter's sleep. There was a knock at my door. I went to see who it was. There was a dark-haired woman outside, who looked familiar, but I couldn't place her at first. She was drop-dead gorgeous, from her ample bosom, to her slinky curves, long legs, or feet in perfect little shoes. Her face was pretty, but had that look of a Hollywood star who had one too many plastic surgeries. And when I saw her hands, I knew immediately who she was. The hands were much too big for those of a woman, the wrists too thick, the fingers too stubby. It was Juan, returned to me. Maria? I said, asking his female name. Yes ma'am, he said in a breathy alto feminine voice. How do you know my name? I've seen you before, but you must not remember me, I said. I couldn't believe that he had forgotten me. I had been able to reshape his mind that much. Can I come in? She asked. I let her in, and we sat in the living room, elegantly sipping tea, and chatting with girl talk. She showed me pictures of her husband, and his 3 kids from his previous marriage. "I am their mother now," she said proudly. "I finally feel fulfilled. Now I am complete." "That's nice," I said. "Is your husband nice to you?" "Oh yes, he would never hurt a fly." "I just hate those men who hurt their women, don't you?" "Yes I do," I said, "more than you'll ever know."